Get ready for a super exciting story. This is about a man named Donald. Donald Trump is his full name. He's like the main character in a big movie, full of energy and big ideas. He always liked to think big and, honestly, he was never afraid to try. This story is about his amazing journey. Yeah, it's a real adventure, full of surprises. Are you ready to explore his world? Imagine someone who loves to build, not just with toy blocks, but with giant cranes. Imagine someone who loves to make deals, like swapping your apple for a super cool toy. That was Donald. He loved challenges. He saw problems and wanted to fix them. He saw empty spaces and imagined tall buildings. He was a doer, a thinker, a dreamer. His life is like a storybook full of twists and turns and fun. Donald wasn't afraid of the spotlight. He liked to be where the action was, like a superhero ready to save the day or a captain steering a giant ship. He believed in himself a lot. That belief helped him do amazing things. Some things were super successful, yay. Some things were tricky and hard, But he always kept going, like a battery that never runs out. This story will show you his childhood, how he grew up and what he learned. Then his big adventures in business, building shiny towers that touched the sky. And then a super big surprise. He decided to run for president. And he won. Wow! So buckle up, little explorer. Let's dive into the incredible, colorful, and always exciting life of Donald Trump. Once upon a time, in a big city, a little boy named Donald was born. The city was New York. So many lights. He grew up in a part called Queens. It was a busy, bustling place, full of people and cars and dreams. Donald was an energetic kid for sure. He had bright eyes and a curious mind, always looking, always learning. He was ready for adventure from day one. Donald's dad was named Fred Trump. Fred was a builder. He built houses. He built apartment buildings for families. Little Donald watched his dad work. He saw how Fred turned ideas into real homes. Donald learned that building was important. It was like magic, making something from nothing. His mom, Mary, was strong and smart. She taught him to be confident. Family was very important to them. Donald was a lively boy, full of beans. He liked to play. He liked to explore. He was competitive, even as a kid. That means he liked to win. He would try to be the best he could be. He wasn't always the quietest boy in class. He had lots of energy he needed to use. He was thinking about big things already. What would he build one day? What mark would he make on the world? To help him focus his energy, his parents sent him to a special school. It was called the New York Military Academy. It was a place with rules and discipline. He learned to be organized there. He learned to be a leader. It helped him grow strong and determined. He wore a uniform and marched in line. This experience shaped young Donald. It prepared him for future challenges. After school, Donald knew what he wanted. He wanted to build big things, really big, even bigger than his dad built. He had learned so much from his father about concrete and steel and making deals. Now, it was his turn to try. He joined his family's building company. He was like an apprentice learning the ropes, eager to show what he could do. His mind was buzzing with new ideas. Donald didn't just want to build houses. He had his eyes on the big city, Manhattan, the heart of New York. He saw old buildings and thought, I can make that better, shinier, taller. He was a dreamer with a plan. He wanted to change the skyline to add his own special sparkle. It was a huge challenge, but he was ready. He was young, bold, and full of fire. His dad gave him a helping hand alone to get started on his own. Donald was so excited for this chance. He started looking for projects in Manhattan. It wasn't easy. Many people said no. But Donald didn't give up easily. He was like a super bouncy ball. If he got pushed down, he bounced right back up. He kept knocking on doors. He kept sharing his big, bold visions. One of his first big tests was a hotel. The Commodore Hotel was old and tired. It was near a big train station. Donald saw its potential. He had a vision. He could make it grand again. He worked hard to get permission. He worked hard to find the money. It was a complicated puzzle to solve. But Donald loved solving puzzles. This was just the beginning of his building adventure. Donald's first really big splash was that hotel. He didn't just fix the old Commodore Hotel. He transformed it into the Grand Hyatt Hotel. It was shiny, modern, and super successful. People were amazed by the change. It showed everyone that Donald could do big things. He wasn't just dreaming, he was building. This success gave him even more confidence. He thought, what can I build next? His imagination was his only limit. Then came his most famous building idea yet. Trump Tower, a super tall skyscraper right in the middle of New York City on a very famous street called Fifth Avenue. He wanted it to be glamorous and amazing, a place where people would say, wow. He chose black glass for the outside and shiny gold colors inside. It was a bold statement for sure, like a giant jewel in the city. Building Trump Tower was a huge adventure. There were many challenges along the way, like getting all the permissions needed and making sure everything was built just right. Donald was involved in every detail, from the color of the marble to the height of the waterfall. He wanted it to be perfect. It opened in 1983 and it was a sensation. It had shops, apartments, and offices. It became a symbol of success in the 1980s. Donald didn't stop with Trump Tower. He built other famous buildings too. Casinos in Atlantic City like giant fun palaces. Golf courses, green and beautiful. He put his name on them in big letters so everyone knew who built them. He was a master at making deals. He knew how to buy and sell. He wasn't afraid to take big risks. Sometimes he won big, sometimes he faced setbacks, but he always aimed for the sky. Guess what happened next in Donald's story? He became a star on television. It was a whole new kind of adventure, not building with bricks but with cameras. He got his own TV show. It was called Young Apprentice. Maybe you've heard of it? It was a super popular show. Lots and lots of people watched it. Donald was now famous in a new way. On The Apprentice, people competed. They wanted to win a big job, a job working for Donald Trump himself. They had to do different business tasks, like selling lemonade or creating an ad. Donald would watch them very closely. He was the big boss on the show. He decided who did a good job and who didn't make the cut. It was exciting to watch them try. Donald had a famous catchphrase on the show. When someone didn't do well, he would say, "You're fired." It sounded serious, but it was all part of the TV show game. It made the show dramatic and fun. People all over started saying it too. Donald became known for his strong personality. He was direct and said what he thought. The show was a huge hit for many years. It made him a household name. Being a TV star changed things for Donald. He was already famous as a builder. But now, everyone knew his face and voice, from big cities to small towns. He wrote books about business and success. He appeared in movies and other TV shows. He loved being in the public eye. He was a natural entertainer. This fame would play a big part in the next surprising chapter of his life. After many years as a businessman and a super famous TV star, Donald Trump had another huge idea. A really big one this time. He decided he wanted to be the President of the United States. Can you believe it? Wow. Many people were very surprised. From buildings and TV shows to running a country. That was a giant leap. He announced he was running for president. It was in the summer of 2015. He said he wanted to make America great again. That was his main slogan, his big promise. He held big rallies like giant parties. Lots of people came to hear him speak. He talked about his ideas for the country. He promised to bring back jobs. He promised to be a strong leader. His style was different from other politicians. The journey to become president is long. It's like a big race with many runners. Donald competed against other people. First, to be the choice of his party, the Republicans. He traveled all over the country. He gave speeches and debated other candidates. He used social media a lot to talk to people. It was a noisy and exciting time. He had lots of supporters who cheered him on. They loved his energy and his promises. And then, the big election day came. People all over America went to vote. They chose who they wanted for president. It was a very close contest. Everyone was waiting to see who would win. And the winner was Donald Trump. He had won the election. He was going to be the 45th president. It was a historic moment. A businessman and TV star was now president-elect. Moving into the White House was next. That's the very famous house in Washington, D.C. where the president lives and works. It's big and white and full of history. Imagine starting a new job there. Donald Trump became president in January 2017. It was a very grand ceremony. He took an oath, a special promise to protect and lead the country. A new chapter began, full of responsibility. Being president is a super busy job. It's like being the captain of a giant ship, and the manager of a huge team, and the main decision maker all at once. Every day was packed with important things, meetings with leaders and advisors, making calls to people all over the world, reading reports and signing new laws. It was a whirlwind of activity all the time. There was never a dull moment, that's for sure. President Trump had his own way of doing things. He liked to make decisions quickly. He used Twitter a lot to share his thoughts. This was new for a president. He wanted to talk directly to the American people. He had his own style, very bold and direct. Some people really liked his approach. They felt he was shaking things up. He promised to do things differently, and he certainly did try to do that. The White House became his new office, and his new home for 4 years. He had a team to help him, secretaries, advisors, and many others. They worked on many different issues, from the economy to keeping the country safe. It was a challenging job with big pressures. President Trump faced many big decisions. He learned a lot during his time there. It was an adventure he would never forget. As President Donald Trump had many big ideas, he wanted to make significant changes. He focused on the economy a lot. That means jobs, businesses, and money. He wanted to help businesses grow. He believed this would create more jobs, so people could earn more money. He signed new rules about taxes, hoping it would make things better for families. These were some of his main goals. He also thought about America's place in the world. He met with leaders from many other countries, from places near and far, big and small. He talked about trade, which is buying and selling between America and other nations. He wanted to make new deals that he thought were better for America. Sometimes these talks were friendly, sometimes they were a bit more tricky. Being president means talking to everyone. Not everyone always agreed with President Trump. That's normal when you're a leader. People have different opinions and ideas. Some people cheered for his decisions. They thought he was making America stronger. Other people worried about his changes. They had different ideas about what was best. There were many debates and discussions in the news and in people's homes. That's part of how a country like America works. During his time, some things changed a lot. He appointed new judges to important courts. These judges make big decisions about laws. He also focused on the country's borders. He wanted to make them more secure. His presidency was full of action and many memorable moments. He always tried to be a strong voice for the people who supported him. It was a period of big energy and big events. So what can we learn from Donald Trump's story? It's a story about dreaming really big. He started as a boy in Queens, and he reached for the tallest buildings, and then for the highest office in the land. It shows that you can aim high no matter where you start from. If you have a big dream, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you it's too big or that you can't do it. Donald's journey also teaches us about belief. He believed in himself so much. He believed he could build amazing things. He believed he could win on TV. He believed he could become president. Believing in yourself is super important. It's like having a secret superpower. It gives you the courage to try, even when things seem tough or scary. So always remember to believe in you. Another lesson is about not giving up. Donald faced many challenges in his life. In business, there were ups and downs. Running for president was a tough race. Being president had hard days too, but he kept going. He was persistent, like a little train that says, "I think I can." When you fall, you get back up. When something is hard, you try again. That's how you reach your goals. So, little explorer, what's your big dream? Do you want to be an artist, an astronaut, a teacher, a scientist, or maybe a builder too? Donald Trump's story encourages us all to be bold and to take chances, to work hard for what we want, and to never stop dreaming. Your adventure is just beginning. Go out there and make it amazing. The world is waiting for your sparkle.